Hello, 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 hello. Well, as you can see, the background is different. I'm not in Kumasi at the moment. I'm in Takoradi. Well, the lighting is a bit hazy here, but forgive us. Today is gonna be this rant, this unburdening, this unloading of something that has been bothering me for a long while. Is there anything like ancestral curse or is an ancestral mindset? Is it an ancestral? Do we have an ancestral curse, or what we have is actually an ancestral mindset that we are describing as a curse? I'm actually asking this question because of many things I've come to know recently. Many things I've come to see recently. I thought that if there is a curse, the curse goes to the perpetrators of a crime and not the victim. I thought that with a just God or just gods, that it is the oppressed that is saved and the oppressor is the one that is cursed. I thought it's those that deny others of justice and actually treat others like animals who are cursed and not those who are treated like animals. So why is it that the concept of an ancestral curse is rather prevalent in African countries where many of them were taken as slaves and were colonized and dehumanized? Why do we seem to believe it is we who are cursed instead of those who did the perpetration of this heinous crimes, of this genocide, of this inhumanity to humans? And that is what I'm wondering. That's what I'm bothered by. I'm bothered by it, seriously. Why are we having ancestral curses in the land of the colored? And this does not seem to show in the land of the Caucasians. Are we an ancestral curses, really? Or it's just an ancestral mindset that we need to change? That is what I'm actually ranting about, actually. Even as I find myself in this lovely hotel in Takoradi. By the grace of God, I've come here to um, worship with my church for more than 11 years. Pentecost International Worship Center, Takoradi. They are saying thank you to me for my service as an evangelism leader in various positions in the district. And God willing, tomorrow that activity will be done. And I'm here to grace the function. And I decided to find myself in this place and to enjoy the ambience. And I hope you actually are loving it, actually. Now, I wanted to talk about this major issue because it's very important. It's an issue that bothers you too, I believe. There's always this talk about ancestral curses. One of the places that, from one of the scriptures from which this particular thing was popularized, is when Jesus went to resurrect Lazarus. Now, according to the preachers of this doctrine, when Jesus called for Lazarus out of the grave, it was this symbolism to us being brought back from death to life. In other words, being brought back from being dead to the Lord, dead to God, unto the life of Him. In other words, it was a typology of the born again experience. Now, if that is a typology of the born again experience, then why then did Jesus then say, after He had come forth, and everybody has seen that He was now alive, why did Jesus say, loose Him and let Him go? Now, for the proponent of this particular doctrine, Jesus saying to this resurrected, this born again, this person snatched from hellfire, snatched from death, Jesus saying to him, because he was embalmed, he had been covered and he had been wrapped, Jesus saying to him, loosen and let him go was to say that by reason of tradition, by reason of his ancestry, he has certain curses, certain things which bound him from moving, even though he has been born again. And hence, the need to do deliverance from ancestral curses, even after we have been born again. That's what the doctrines is all about. It talks about ancestral curses, even after a man has been born again. But then the context of this whole message, as I said, must be put in the right perspective. Must be put in the right perspective. And that right perspective is that this was not Jesus after the resurrection. This is not Jesus after the resurrection. This is Jesus before the resurrection. This is not when the New Testament had stepped in. This is when the New Testament had not begun, because the Bible says that before a testament becomes effective, it's not just the Bible, it's actually legal. You cannot have your will come into effect until and only unless after you are dead. So those of us who have watched films where the will was in video, the person who actually reads the will usually start with, "If you are hearing this, it means I'm dead." So before Jesus died, the Old Testament was still in force. And it was clear in the Old Testament that the fathers will eat grapes and the children's teeth will be set on edge. The consequence of the Old Testament was that a man reaped what he sowed, even pass it on to his generations. And while in the wilderness, all the way to when the laws came, sins were punished for generations. So this analogy will also work, though in the New Testament, for the dispensation in which was still under the Old Testament. And because of that, it was true. Even though symbolically Lazarus was raised from the dead, he still has an entanglement that he to be losing from. But did any of such a thing happen after Jesus died? Was anybody sent through deliverance after his born again experience? I don't know of a single person who underwent deliverance after being born again and to Jesus' death. So then what is the essence of deliverance? Deliverance has to do with getting involved with something wrong, and being entangled in that wrong. And because you're entangled in that wrong, you are oppressed of the devil, you are harassed of the devil, you're tormented by the devil, and then you need them to be removed from the influence of the enemy. That is where deliverance is needed after being born again. And it always is a product of a sin that has come after being born again, not a sin that existed before you were born again. So a certain clarity needs to be made that there is nothing like a sin, the consequence of a sin before being born again, that is carried even after being born again into the newness, into the new birth. And that is what classical Pentecostal is clearly against. The idea that any sin, any gravity of a sin, any consequence of a sin can survive the atoning death of Christ and persist into the new birth makes nonsense of the precious blood of Jesus. But then it's more than possible for you to get entangled once more in a sinful lifestyle that will bring the consequence of his sinfulness upon you later on in life, for which you may become so entangled that you may need to be delivered from it. That is purely possible. So let's see the difference in the two. You are born again, you speak in tongues, you backslide, you fall into sin, you fall into sexual sin. then you become sexually entangled to someone you want to back away from. You need to be delivered from it. If you contracted AIDS, the AIDS will not still be there. You could be prayed for and the AIDS will go, but then the consequence of that sinful lifestyle will be there. But it is not a lifestyle that has come from the past. It's a lifestyle that you took on after being born again. There are consequences of sin that may be with you from the past, if it is a sickness that has not been healed yet. But clearly, most instances, once you're born again, everything spiritual is removed. Everything spiritual. The rest is left with dealing with the body in terms of habit, in terms of sometimes change of mindset, sometimes in terms of healing. But the spiritual thing giving force to that consequence would have been removed. So, what is the problem? What am I dealing with here? The many people under the auspices, under the circumstance of ancestral curse, have actually refused to think, have refused to strengthen themselves, have refused to break the yoke of their mindset upon them, have refused to break out of the fold that their culture has placed them in. It has nothing to do with an ancestral curse or misbehavior. They have everything to do with a mindset that will just not change even after being renewed in the born again experience. Why am I so emphatic on this? I believe somebody saying, I don't know about pastor priestess. I mean, what are you talking about? There's an ancestral. Yes, there's an ancestral curse in unbelievers. Of course there is. Because once the familiar spirit in the family is still there, it will continue to pass on whatever it is, behavior that is necessitating the curse to remain. And because it's a learned behavior over the years, it will always recur. Typical case in point, Abraham lied that his wife was his sister. Isaac picked it up too, you know. So it continued in that. So it was a behavior that was bringing a consistent condition. So it would have been said of Abraham and his descendant that it appeared Abraham and his descendant always someone was trying to take their wife. But it was their own behavior that had brought about this situation of kings trying to take their wives. Because they always claimed that their wives were not their wives, but their sisters. So anytime there is an ancestral behavior that persists, its consequence, its curse will also persist. And that is the law in the Old Testament. But when Jesus came, he took upon the consequence of every sin. And he said that everybody can start afresh. It doesn't matter what your father did, your grandfather did. You can start afresh. And that's the essence of the gospel. He said we are born again no longer of a human mind or of any ancestry, of any bloodline. There's nothing, our ancestry has ceased. Our ancestry is now terminating in Christ. We are starting afresh. We begin a new life. We have a new testament. We have a new set of rules, a new set of laws. We are in the law of life. You know. So, what are some of the fallacies that underpin this ancestral case theology? What are some of the fallacies that underpin it? Remember, I'm not speaking against deliverance. I'm speaking against an ancestral case that survives the born again experience. And there are many people who preached it. Oh, you're born again, but you need to go and stop that. You need to go and change that. If Jesus' blood cannot save us from everything, then what is it saving us from? Because we are either saved from everything or we are saved from nothing. Now, the first thing we should consider as Africans when we talk about this born again experience, I see it is a religion that we must follow, is that the descendants of the slave traders. And when I say the descendants of the slave traders, they think about, none of the ones, our ancestors went to war and people went to war and killed each other. No. No, I'm not talking about soldiers engaged in war on the road. I'm talking about the innocent being abducted, the mother and her kids. And then this innocent mother, they raped along the way, the weak amongst them killed. And all that was being done was just so that somebody would be rich. It was not for survival, it was not for preservation, it was just for money. These people came from thousands of miles, stole people, imprisoned them, killed them along the way, and sold them into slavery. What is more heinous than that? What is more wrong than that? In fact, these people literally broke almost all the 10 Commandments before they ended a slave on some platform to be sure. They broke almost all the 10 Commandments. And I'm sure you must have thought then their children are vagabonds and their children are actually they became poor and the rest. No. Where is the ancestral case? We're talking about the original owners of Liverpool. The original owners of Liverpool, they had to retire from slave trade and then they invested the money in the Liverpool football club. And it still exists today. It has not died, it has not gone backward. They are filthy rich. What happened to all the curses the slave bring upon them? The curses they cursed them with their dolls, even as they were transporting them in chains and tears. And sometimes they say that, when you curse, when you curse naked, it was better. These slaves were naked. And they were naked for weeks. Can you imagine how much they must have said and pronounced and spoken upon these wild, evil people, they must have called them, as they transported them in the belly of the ship in the most inhuman and most undignified of forms. And yet, what has happened? Barclays, two brothers from Barclays' mom, were also slave traders. They died in slavery. But they were able to form a bond that exists to this day. What happened to the ancestral cases? Why wasn't there a case upon the family? Why weren't they all dying and mothers refusing to bear children and stuff? These people's continuous riches, the cities of London, and the benefit from slavery and all the atrocities that were committed over the past centuries, if the riches are still within those families, there is a clear sign that there's nothing like an ancestral curse. Basically, it's an ancestral mindset that needs to change. Let's talk about mass murderers. What is more human than a murderous group? The world around Congos and the West cutting hands. People who decimated entire population until they had halved them, even in the time when we were giving them 8, 9 children, they still wanted to have an entire population. Imagine how many millions you have to kill for that to happen. Is Are the judge poor people? Are they wallowing in poverty? No. It's a judge a poor, sad, hungry nation because they perpetrated these crimes. I those from Belgium. Is Brussels a decrepit, poor little town? No. Brussels is actually the center of Europe. And Leopold perpetrated this evil. That monarchy is still there. Its greatness is not diminished the least. What happened to the cases, ancestral cases of the people of Congo who must have rained upon them, quoted some gods and cursed them with it? Why are they still so rich? Why is Belgium still such a rich country? What has happened to the ancestral curses that are supposed to come upon them? Think about it, dear. Think about it. The only thing that has kept us from moving forward is our mindset. Not because of anything, because if we are to talk about things, most things have been done to us, not by us. When people will say, what about those people who collaborate with the were the slave traders to sell us? Hmm, that's a very good question. I like that so much. Those were people that had relationship with the triumphant kings. I mean, mentions they were former children of these slave raiders and traders. They were mulattoes or they were kings. Are they not the descendants of these people who are ruling the African countries now? Are they not the ones that are in charge? Former sons of kings and the rest? Please, don't let anybody dictate to you on your rising, your falling by what somebody else did. God will not be a just God to allow that to happen. That is why the Old Testament was found to be inadequate. So Jesus said that the Old Testament was not adequate. I have come to fulfill it, to make it complete. I've come to make it complete. Now, let's go to the third reason why I believe this ancestral business is one of the greatest setbacks to us as Christians. One of the things that has kept us back the most is this ancestral curse doctrine. The only thing I have realized in life that perpetuates disadvantages in society is ignorance. There's not a single group of people who have risen by being ignorant. There's not a single. There's not a single group of people who have risen by refusing to study, refusing to study, refusing to read, refusing to apply themselves to searching for knowledge, to documenting knowledge. There's no group of people who have risen without doing that. And any group of people that allows themselves to believe that they can live without learning, that group of people will certainly will not try. Any group of people that will allow themselves to believe that they can go on without study, without reading, without applying themselves to books, then such a group will be at the bottom and will continue to be there no matter how long. People were died because they wanted to learn. People were brutally manhandled because they were caught reading. There were laws then that people not to teach slaves to read. Let me tell you, the only thing that can prevent you from rising up is because you have refused to learn from your mistakes. You refuse to improve on what you do. You refuse to excel at what you do. That's the only thing that can keep you down there. And many of our brethren in the diaspora have proven this fact so many times. They've risen from the ghettos to some of the most prominent places in the United States. They've risen from the bottom to the echelons of power. They've risen from the bottom to make history in the tracks in the field. They've risen from the bottom to go into space, irrespective of whatever baggage must be behind them because of their ancestors. Now, finally, and I want to be very clear on this. Finally, the only thing that perpetuates disadvantage, poverty, lack, disease, short lifespan, the only thing that perpetuates these things, stunted growth, is poverty. It is not a curse. It's not a rich, but it is poverty. If you are poor, you will not actually have access to the right kind of food. If you are poor, you will not access school. If you are poor, you will not live in the right place, in the right type of building. If you are poor, you will not be able to connect with the right people in society. If you are poor, you will have vote but will not count. So what I'm testifying on today, and clearly saying without equivocation, is that the only reason why people of our color are where they are is because they didn't have access to the economy, they didn't have access to schooling, they didn't have access to education, they didn't have access to capital. They were denied of knowledge and denied of capital. That's the only thing that stood us because that was done for centuries. For centuries, we were stagnated from moving forward, and that's what created the gap. But those who are minded so to do with the things that Scripture teaches have caught up and overtaken the people that did this in the ancestry. I'm telling you today, I'm telling you 4 reasons why you should not pay attention to the ancestral curse ideology because it gives you a reason not to break through. It gives you a reason to remain down there. It gives you an excuse to continue to be mediocre. It tells you that you're even lucky to be here because you're supposed to be worse than you are now. Instead of telling you that this is not where you belong, you're supposed to rise up further and go even far, far deeper. It tells you are fortunate to be here because you've done it in spite of the curse that is upon you, an ancestral curse from your ancestors. Why is this here an ancestral curse? It means that you should not feel bad that it's affecting you because it has affected generations before you. What a lie. What a lie from the pit of hell. So these are the 4 things which keeps us backward and not an ancestral curse. These are the 4 mindsets that keep us backward. The 4 mindsets that keeps us where we are as people of color and not an ancestral curse. We should stop believing in it, but it's not happiness. The first one is that if ancestral curse worked, then the people in the descendants of slavery should be some of the poorest people in the world because the atrocity of the slave trade cannot be talked about. The rape, the murder, the maiming, the stealing, the rampaging. These people should be the scum on the earth. And they're descending as some of the richest in the world. So, completely contrary to what it's supposed to be. If ancestral cares worked, then the descendants of mass murderers, both in the various wars and in the slave trade, should be some of the most decrepit, some of the most diseased, but they're some of the richest people. Owners of several mighty banks, several mighty universities, founders of several big theaters and huge concert halls. Why did they prosper in spite of all the atrocities? Because they had knowledge. They changed the game. They changed the playing field and changed the game. So you could still be rich even though you had offended every god under heaven, and even the one above it. So country which committed the these their countries. Whenever they do a ranking of the happiest nations in the world, no African country features, even though we did not participate in the senior sky, we did not kill 6 million Jews, neither did we actually go around the world killing people in the World War One and Two, who were quite engrafted into it. Yet the nation that led this whole agenda, Germany, they're one of the most prosperous nations in the world. In fact, they're just a few million, tens of millions, and yet they constitute the greatest exporting nation in the world. Not even China comes close. And they are the third largest. I think they are the third or fourth or so, fifth largest exporting nation in the world. After yes, we have the second after Japan, and they export far, far, far more per capita than any nation. These people went about killing people, committing some of the most heinous, killing God's own people of the Jews, 6 million of them. And yet, why the ancestral curse upon them? Why the Germans not curse? Why is Germany not a third world nation? Please. If that was working, Germany should be a third world nation right now, but Germany is one of the richest nations in the world. They have more money than they know what to do with. What happened to ancestral curse? Which pastor went to break it for them? Which pastor went to pray over the nation? Which anointing had to break it? Now, number 3, the only thing that perpetuates disadvantage, poverty, discrimination is ignorance. That's the only thing. And number 4, the only thing that perpetuates disadvantage, discrimination is poverty. So these are what sends disadvantage over the generations and not a curse of any spirit of any man. I hope you've been blessed, just like I have been blessed. You know, ask yourself the same question. This thing is ancestral mindset, not ancestral curse. But I asked you, and I believe you've answered the question now. Is it an ancestral curse or a mindset? I'm sure by now you're realizing that it's more of a mindset than a curse. I want you to share this with somebody. Please do share it with somebody. Let us break our mind free from the mental slavery that we put ourselves into. The physical chains are off, but the ones on our minds are not gone yet. We have no physical reason to be inferior, so we should not give ourselves some. Okay? We have every reason to be blessed. The Bible says that Ethiopian cannot change his skin. It's like a leopard cannot change his spot. So we are supposed to be who we are. We are supposed to love who we are. And we should not marry women. I mean, we are black and beautiful. Bless you for coming here and for watching. And I wanted to share this podcast with someone. And click on the notification bell and just subscribe to this channel. It'll bless you the same way it's blessing you. God bless you and remain free with the freedom that Christ has given you. Amen and amen. Amen to you. Love you.